Hello everyone, this is Ashita Chandak from Department of Microbiology from KTHM College in Nashik. In our today's course named Malnutrition and Community Health, we will be talking about nutritional deficiency diseases, which mainly include different diseases like protein energy malnutrition, vitamin A deficiencies, or diseases associated with protein energy malnutrition such as marasmus, Kwashiorkor, Marasmus-Kwashiorkor associated diseases as well as fluorosis and deficiency diseases such as iron and zinc deficiency. So in our today's class, we will be mainly talking about protein energy malnutrition, the causes associated with protein energy malnutrition, what socio-economic factors, biological factors, age factor, host-associated factors affect the prevalence of this particular disease or deficiency disorder, the symptoms associated with this disease, and we also will be discussing the prevention as well as the treatment strategies as well as schemes implied by the Government of India for preventing the spread of protein energy malnutrition in the country. So in our previous lecture, we have already talked about what we mean by nutritional problems. Nutritional problems are health associated disorders which are concerned with the nutritional status of an individual, meaning what food an individual consumes basically affects the status or the health status of that individual, and on a greater level it will affect the prevalence of that particular disease in a particular community. And we will also be talking we also talked about implications of these problems, such as if there is a deficiency, it may lead to problems such as underweight status, or if you are consuming nutrients in excess, it may lead to overweight status. So in this way, depending on what is the what nutrients a person is consuming or a community is consuming on daily basis, the deficiencies as well as the excess can lead to problems, and those problems have a particular specific effect or clinical symptom in those particular people or population. So we have already discussed this in our previous lecture. In today's class, we will be mainly talking or focusing on protein energy malnutrition. In protein energy malnutrition, we will be discussing what actually is protein energy malnutrition and the definitions associated with protein energy malnutrition as well as the causes of protein energy malnutrition as such. Alright. So after watching this video, you should basically be able to understand as well as explain the terms associated with deficiency diseases or terms such as Kwashiorkor, marasmus, which are mainly included in PEM. So we will be talking about the different definitions. First and foremost, we need to understand what do you mean by malnutrition. So malnutrition can be defined as a condition that develops when the body does not get right amount of vitamins, minerals and other nutrients which the body needs to maintain healthy tissue and organ function. Meaning there are certain types of nutrients known as essential nutrients and non-essential nutrients. So essential nutrients are those nutrients which need to be consumed on a daily basis in your diet, because they cannot be produced by your gut flora or by your body as such. So these nutrients need to be consumed, and that is why they are known as the essential nutrients. If these essential nutrients such as vitamins, minerals, different types of sugars, proteins are not consumed in proper amounts, it may lead to deficiency disorders. These deficiency disorders basically lead to a condition known as malnutrition. Right. So World Health Organization has basically tried to define malnutrition. They have defined malnutrition as the cellular imbalance between supply of nutrients and energy and the body's demand for them to ensure growth, maintenance and specific function. Obviously what this definition is trying to say is there is going to be an imbalance between whatever nutrients are being consumed and what is the requirement of the body. Now, why does the body require these nutrients? The body requires all these nutrients for proper growth, maintaining different tissues, their proper functions. Everything will will be dependent on production of energy, and you will get energy when you eat correct quantity as well as quality of food, which is providing you with a balanced diet. If there is any imbalance, it will basically lead to malnutrition. Right. So malnutrition, like I said, is a condition that develops when the body does not get right amount of vitamins, minerals and other nutrients which are basically essential for proper functioning of the body. Now malnutrition can be divided into two types. The person or the fetus can either be undernourished or overnourished. Undernourished basically indicates a deficiency kind of disorder, whereas overnourishment indicates excessive consumption of particular nutrients. Right. So we'll see the definitions of undernourishment as well as overnourishment. Whenever there is inadequate consumption or poor absorption or excessive loss of nutrients, the condition which arises is known as undernutrition. So in most of the cases, due to certain socio-economic factors such as poverty, illiteracy, inadequate consumption takes place. There are also other factors. For example, there can be the person may be predisposed to certain conditions, and the gut or the genetic makeup of the person is such that proper nutrients are not being absorbed in the body, or whatever the food is being consumed is being lost either through sweat, through urine. All the essential nutrients are lost. So such type of condition can lead to undernutrition. Then we have the second definition, which is overnutrition. Overnutrition is basically overindulgence or overindulgence of a specific intake of nutrients, meaning excess में you are consuming different types of nutrients which your body does not require. This will lead to conditions such as obesity, overweight, type 2 diabetes, as well as different types of kidney disorders as well. Okay. Now we move on to our main topic, that is protein energy malnutrition. So in this part of the video, we will try to understand what do you mean by protein energy malnutrition, what are the different types of protein energy malnutrition, and what are the terms associated with protein energy malnutrition. So we will be talking about PEM in general. Like I said, protein energy malnutrition is abbreviated as PEM. PEM basically is also referred as protein calorie malnutrition, meaning there is a deficiency of proteins in the diet of an individual, or there is a deficiency in the amount of proteins which is being consumed. This type of malnutrition is basically the primary nutritional status problem in our country, and this was the first national nutritional disorder to be classified. This was also the first national nutritional disorder to be classified. Like I said, the term basically applies, this basically includes 2 to 3 different types of malnutritions, which include Kwashiorkor, marasmus. Also, there is an intermediate stage known as Kwashiorkor marasmus. So, group of disorders, depending on the symptoms, you can basically identify if the child is basically suffering from either marasmus or the child is suffering from Kwashiorkor as such, right? So, mainly PEM occurs due to food gap between intake and requirement. PEM mainly occurs in children who are under the age of 5 years. If the social status or the economic status of the family is not good, for example, if the child is born to a family who is having daily wages, or the parents are earning daily wages and they are not able to provide proper quantity of food at proper times, so there are long gaps in between which the food is being given. The food is not being given very regularly to the children as such. And there may be other conditions such as certain traditional beliefs are also there, in which they believe that this much gap is essential between 2 consecutive meals. So all these social factors, economic factors, beliefs can lead to protein and energy malnutrition, which arises mainly due to the food gap which is the gap period or time gap between consumption of 2 consecutive meals, which is obviously more than the required time gap. Okay, so this particular image basically talks about your this particular image is taken from the UNICEF website, and this is malnourished child who is suffering from kwashiorkor as such. You can see the symptoms such as wasting in hands, which indicates the presence of kwashiorkor in this child. Okay. Now we will see the basic definitions of the 3 disorders. What is PEM, what is marasmus, and what is kwashiorkor. So when we talk about PEM basically, if you have to define PEM is a group of body depletion disorders which includes intermediate stages of kwashiorkor, marasmus, as well as full-blown kwashiorkor and marasmus as well. Yani whenever you are talking about protein energy malnutrition, one of the 3 or a combined stage may be observed. When we talk about marasmus basically represents starvation. Starvation as in the child is not being given food for more than a stipulated period of time, and because of this starvation or continuous fasting or inadequate food supply, the body adapts to this starving state, and the body adapts to this chronic state, and there is an insufficient calorie intake, meaning you are not consuming the required amounts of calories. On the contrary, kwashiorkor is the body's response to insufficient protein intake but sufficient calorie intake. So major difference in marasmus and kwashiorkor is that one is a starvation state, whereas the other is a protein deficiency state. When there is a starvation state, the calorie intake is going to be insufficient. In kwashiorkor, the calorie intake is going to be sufficient as such. And because of these differences, you can see difference in symptoms or the clinical manifestations of both these diseases. Like here you can see, this is a child who is suffering from marasmus. Here you can see there is no subcutaneous tissue present or fat cells present. So you can see the bones as well as wasting in the chest as well as arms. So there is no subcutaneous tissue present. Due to this, the bones and the arm bones are easily visible. This diagram or this picture basically shows a child suffering from marasmus. This particular diagram shows a child suffering from kwashiorkor. As you can see, there is edema or swelling of the stomach. The limbs appear to be very thin or wasted as such. We will now see the differences between kwashiorkor and marasmus as such. So whenever we are talking about kwashiorkor, there are certain points which are present and they are going to be absent in your marasmus, right? So in kwashiorkor, basically it develops in children whose diet, like I said, is going to be deficient in proteins, whereas marasmus, due to starvation, there is going to be deficiency of calories as well as proteins. Kwashiorkor mainly occurs in children whose age is between 6 months to 3 years, whereas marasmus is common in infants under the age of 1 year. Then, like I said, in kwashiorkor, subcutaneous fat cells are preserved. That is why you can see protruding belly in case of marasmus, swelling in case of kwashiorkor, whereas as subcutaneous fat is not preserved, the child appears, or the fetus infant appears extremely thin, and the bones are, the skin basically covers the bone structures. Edema, that is swelling, is seen in case of kwashiorkor, whereas swelling or edema is not seen in case of marasmus. The one major feature in kwashiorkor is that there is enlargement of liver cells, that is the fat deposition in the liver cells increases, whereas due to starvation no fat cells are present, so there will be no fat tissue or fatty tissue present in the livers. In case of kwashiorkor, ribs are very prominent, not very prominent, that is you cannot make out the ribs, whereas if you see this diagram also, to your left hand side you can see the child suffering from marasmus, the rib cage of that child can be, or prominent bone structure of that child is visible. The child suffering or the children suffering from kwashiorkor are quite lethargic or lazy. On contrary, the children who are suffering from marasmus are very alert and they are very easily annoyed or irritable. Then in case of your Kwashiorkor, again there is muscle wasting which is very mild or absent. So if you can see, the hands of the child are slightly wasted, or you can see this wasting is not quite prominent as compared to that in your marasmus. So marasmus, there is going to be severe muscle wasting or stretching. The child is going to have a poor appetite in case of Kwashiorkor, whereas in marasmus he or she is going to be a voracious feeder, meaning if he or she gets food, they will pounce on that food quite normally. The person suffering from Kwashiorkor needs an adequate amount of protein supply, whereas the person suffering from marasmus needs not only proteins but also fats and carbohydrates as such. Now we move on to the causes of protein energy malnutrition. In this video, in this part of the video, we'll try to understand the cause of protein energy malnutrition in our country. The causes basically include different types of social factors, economic factors, biological, environmental factors, as well as the role of free radicals, aflatoxin, age-related factors, host-related factors as well. Right. So, different combinations of etiological factors can lead to malnutrition in children. What are these etiological factors? Mainly 5 etiological factors can be considered, or maybe the prevalent cause or the main cause of PEM in our country. First is the social economic factor, second is the biological factor, third one is the environmental factors, fourth one is the role of free radicals and aflatoxin, fifth one is the age of your host. Right. So we start with the 3 main factors, which mainly include social factors, economic, biological and environmental factors. These 4 factors are the most common cause of malnutrition in our country. So whenever we talk about these factors, there are certain points which we need to consider. For example, in many lack of breastfeeding or giving the child certain diluted food may lead to malnutrition. If the feeding is not proper, that is complementary feeding or other than lactating mothers, no food is provided to the child for a period of 3 until the child reaches 3 years, then again there may be problems of malnutrition. A social factor is that there can be overcrowding in the family. So because of increased number of people in the family, the child does not get sufficient quantity of food or sufficient good quality food, which may lead to malnutrition. Other than that, ignorance, that the people are not aware that the child is suffering from malnutrition. Illiteracy is one of the major socio-economic cause of malnutrition in slum areas or poorly developed areas or even certain rural areas as such. Again, lack of health education is going to be one of the major factors which is going to lead to malnutrition. Poverty, the prevalence of various infections in a child may also lead to malnutrition, as well as familial disharmony can also lead to different kinds of malnutrition, mainly marasmus or Kwashiorkor. Next, we have to see what is the role of different free radicals and aflatoxins. Now, you all know free radicals are mainly generated radicals. They can be either cationic ions or anionic ions which are generated in the body. They can also affect the nutritional status of a person. Aflatoxin is basically a poison, you can say, or a toxin which is produced by fungus, a fungus, that is Aspergillus niger, it is produced by a fungus Aspergillus flavus, and if the food is infected by this fungus and you are consuming it, there is a good chance that aflatoxin is going to enter into the body of that child. So 2 new theories have been postulated recently to explain the pathogenesis of your Kwashiorkor. These mainly include that if there is a free radical damage or aflatoxin poisoning in a child, it may damage the liver cells, that is the deposition of fatty cells or fat cells in the liver may increase, and this may also give rise to Kwashiorkor other than the protein energy deficiency. Then the next factor which we need to consider is the age of the host. Mainly these type of malnutrition, that is either PEM, either form of PEM, be it marasmus, be it Kwashiorkor, it is mainly very prevalent in or very frequent in infants and young children, mainly because they are in a rapid growth phase, and growth basically is directly proportional or directly dependent on the nutritional requirement of the child. And during this growth phase, if proper nutrients are not being supplied to the child, obviously they are going to suffer from certain deficiency disorders which can be clubbed under your PEM. So PEM other than children is also seen in pregnant and lactating women, and it can also affect the growth, nutritional status as well as the survival rate of the fetus, newborn infant, because these women are directly going to play a role in feeding these children as such. Elderly people can also suffer from PEM, mainly due to alterations in the gastrointestinal tract, but this is quite rare. So we move on to the student assignments. You have to attempt the following questions. The first question being, what is malnutrition? Define over and undernutrition. Second question is, explain what is Kwashiorkor and marasmus in brief. That is, you need to point out the differences in these two. You can write down these two assignments and upload it on your Google Classroom, or you can email it to me on ashtachandak@8hmcollege.ac.in. We'll quickly summarize our points which we discussed today. First and foremost, we talked about PEM. So PEM is basically a protein energy malnutrition which can be associated, which basically comprises of a group of disorders, namely Kwashiorkor, marasmus, and the intermediate state in the same. When we talk about Kwashiorkor is basically the lack of proteins in diet. If protein consumption is increased, the child may be quite easily cured. Then the second is marasmus, which arises due to long period of starvation. This basically includes deficiency of calories or the imbalance of calories or nutrients in the diet of a child. Then causes can include different types of causes. You can have social factors, economic factors, different biological factors, environmental factors, ignorance, illiteracy, as well as the age of the person. Two new factors, that is aflatoxin poisoning and free radical damage, can also basically lead to your protein energy malnutrition. So this is about it in our today's lecture. In our next lecture, we will be mainly talking about what are the clinical symptoms of each of these diseases, be it Kwashiorkor, be it marasmus, be it the intermediate stage, what are the treatment strategies, and as well as what are the prevention strategies adapted by the Government of India to prevent PEM in our country.